Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new League of Legends video. So it's that time once again to take an early look into the next patch and see exactly what Riot is cooking up. But be prepared because for this one there's going to be some very interesting and questionable changes happening to a couple of champions. Alright guys, so the first change that I want to talk about is going to be to none other than VAYNE. Now with the tank meta currently being extremely popular and also really strong, it is not unheard of Riot to want to try and buff the ADCs that essentially counter the meta to again change the meta to give League of Legends that sort of fresh feeling. So VAYNE is getting some pretty significant buffs on the PvE at the very moment, which I honestly believe are going to be either taken down and or changed. But regardless, they are as follows. The first of which is going to be to her W, where the bonus true damage on this ability has actually been increased to 14% by rank 5 rather than just 12. Now this obviously is actually quite big, I mean especially later on into the game when she has more attack speed, when she's able to proc it that much more frequently, and especially when she's trying to kill those tanks. That's gonna add a lot of damage. But they also changed around the minimum damage that her W will deal as well, to where the earlier ranks of W actually have slightly more minimum damage that it can deal, while the later ranks will be slightly less, which is kind of interesting because the percent bonus true damage on the W actually doesn't get changed whatsoever rank 1, and only rank 2 is where it starts to slowly get stronger. So it's almost as if you decide to keep the W rank 1 or before the actual percent damage changes increase, the base damage, or I guess the minimum damage, is actually going to be a little bit higher to kind of make VAYNE still feel stronger. And once you finally start ranking up the W and it becomes stronger and stronger because the percent damage is increasing by quite a bit, the base damage or the minimum damage is going to be slightly lower to make the increased percent damage on her W a bit more fair. But that's obviously not the crazy buff. I mean, that's not the crazy change happening to VAYNE. No, in fact, it's going to be to her ultimate, Final Hour, because it has received a completely new effect, and oh my goodness, what were they thinking when they did this? I have absolutely no idea. It states the following. While VAYNE is under the effects of Final Hour, her ultimates, VAYNE is revitalized when enemy champions she has damaged recently are killed, healing for 20% of their maximum health. So now imagine this combined with Dangerous Game, which already gives you back mana and HP whenever you kill a target. You're going to be getting quite a bit back. Now imagine this though. VAYNE, she's known to be a really good tank killer, right? Naturally because of her W. Her ultimate gives her a lot of damage, and she's also able to kite the tanks as well. Well, now after she actually finally manages to kill them, which she can most likely easily do since she's designed to do so, she'll also get back 20% of their maximum health, not her maximum health. Their maximum health. So imagine killing some disgustingly tanky Cho'Gath who has about maybe 4,000, 5,000 HP. She's getting back quite a bit. Essentially, almost any tank that has some sort of HP items, which they probably will. VAYNE, of course, not really getting that many more HP items that increase her maximum HP. There's a pretty good chance that almost any single tank that she kills ever is going to bring her back to almost full HP, if not very close to it. But even with that, I mean, even if she kills someone like ZED or someone like Talon, people that build things like Black Cleaver, she'll still get a lot of HP back, and she'll still heal so much to where she'll be ready to continue the team fight without any issues whatsoever. I mean, that sounds pretty damn busted, and I'm extremely confused as to what Riot was thinking when they designed this new ultimate effect. Following this, I want to talk about some buffs happening to ZED. Now, God bless, finally ZED is getting some love and getting some buffs. So the buffs to him are as follows. First of which, he's going to have his attack speed increase from 0.644 to 0.658, which is actually not too bad. Now, a lot of people may think, well, ZED doesn't really even auto-attack. I mean, he auto-attacks here and there, mainly to proc his passive, and that's about it. It doesn't really matter too much. Well, that's where you're actually going to be wrong, because ZED, even though he doesn't always auto-attack too often, the increased attack speed actually helps him get that first auto attack off to proc the passive that much faster, so he can then continue being the mobile mage that he is while also casting his other spells. Again, it just helps him do his things even faster and get out of the fight even faster. But with that even being said, I mean, ZED can still build items like Blade of the Rune King and go for a very split push build. You can even go Phantom Dancer on ZED sometimes, and that will make this bonus attack speed he gains now even stronger. So I truly believe that this extra attack speed buff on ZED is actually pretty damn good, and I'm pretty excited for it. But following that, that, ZED is also getting a buff to his W Living Shadow, where the duration on it has been increased from 4.5 to 5.5 seconds. Now they may actually change this down to only 5 seconds rather than 5.5, but regardless, it's actually a pretty good change, because obviously this will make ZED have that much more time to actually take the W and to do nice, really kind of cool W ultimate jukes as well throughout the map or throughout the team fight, and it'll be a bit easier for ZED to get double shadow ease off as well. And it's not uncommon for ZED to use his W in the laning phase also to be kind of a zoning W, where I mean, as long as the W is there, the person you're facing against is going to be relatively scared of it, because you can take it at any time, you can all in him, you can throw abilities, but that extra half a second or 1 second or whatever it ends up being is going to be that much better, because it'll stall them that much longer from the minions and give you that much more lane pressure. All in all, I mean, it's not obviously the biggest buffs in the entire world to ZED, because obviously if they give him big buffs, then he'll be too OP and he won't even be playable since he's always banned, but it's honestly a nice step in the right direction. Now following this, I wanted to talk about some changes happening to Janna, arguably the best support by far at the very moment. Now at quick glance, it looks like Janna is actually getting a nerf on the PvE server, because her Q, Howling Gale, has actually had its cooldown increased by 3 seconds at every single rank. Okay, fantastic. Then we move on to the W changes, because it also looks like a nerf at first, since the damage has actually been lowered as you rank it up, all the way up to reducing it by 40 at rank 5. Cool, that's pretty good. I mean, that's obviously a pretty decent nerf, and that's hitting Janna in a good spot. But then you keep reading, and suddenly you realize her W now actually costs 0 mana at every single rank, and it has a new effect where damaging a champion with her W restores mana and also reduces Janna's cooldowns. Now keep that in mind, cooldowns. Not just the W cooldown, but every single ability she has by 2 seconds. So essentially using your W, you get mana back, fantastic, and considering you're not even using mana to cast a W, you're also essentially negating the nerf happening to her Q ability, where now it's only going to be a +1 second nerf rather than a total of 3 seconds, and of course you're also going to be lowering the cooldown on your ultimate. I mean, a little bit of a questionable change, not entirely sure why Riot is doing this, and they're essentially buffing her. But at least they also ended up nerfing down her E ability, where they increased the cooldown from 10 seconds to 13 seconds, which in theory with Zephyr's new effect is only actually +1 second more, so 11 seconds. And the mana cost has also been increased by 20. Which really isn't all that bad either, since now her W doesn't cost mana and instead actually gives mana back. It doesn't really even change a whole lot now that the mana cost on her E ability has been increased. So like I said, some very questionable changes coming out to the PvE server. Not entirely sure what Riot is doing, but it's happening, boys. It's happening. But let's move on and take a look at what's happening to Leona, another support that has been essentially forgotten, but Riot is definitely trying to bring her back into the meta. The first change is going to be towards her passive, where the duration has actually been lowered from 3.5 seconds to 1.5 seconds in terms of how long the passive stays on the enemy targets, but the damage based on level has actually been increased by only 10 rank 1, but all the way up to 166 from 105 by rank 18, which is pretty damn big. So she's going to be doing a lot more damage with her passive, but you obviously have less time to proc the passive, but in a team fight, there's a good chance that this 1.5 seconds will be more than enough. So Leona will be doing so much more damage in team fights, considering that this is going to be applying, let's say with her W, to several people at the same time. That's going to be a lot of extra damage added to every single enemy champion she hits. All in all, a pretty damn good change to her passive, and I feel like it makes a lot of sense. But then to make things even better, the cooldown on her Q ability has been lowered to 5 at every single rank, rather than starting at a 9-second cooldown rank 1 and then finally going down to 5 by rank 5. And the final change that I want to talk about for this patch so far is going to be towards Hecarim. Now, Hecarim before was probably one of the best junglers in the game for several patches in a row, until he finally got nerfed to the point where now you don't really see him too often, and if you do, there's a decent chance he's not really doing all that well. Well, Riot is finally giving him some buffs, and the first of which is going to be to his ultimate, where his fleet duration has been changed from 1 second to only starting at 0.75 seconds but going up to 1.5 seconds based on the charge distance. So if you use the typical Hecarim combo where you E on the target, you do your E damage, you Q, and then you instantly ultimate right after to just continue the chain of CCs and extra damage and essentially go for the assassination, it's not going to be as effective as it currently is, but it'll still be pretty damn close. But if instead you use Hecarim's ultimate as an engage and you use essentially the full duration of it, then you're going to get a total of 1.5 seconds of the fear, which is going to be much more effective and will give your team that much more time to follow up, because trust me, 0.5 seconds in a team fight is a lot more than you may think. But either way, guys, I mean, there you have it. Some of the first changes coming into the next patch on the PvE server at the moment. Keep in mind that a lot of them are definitely subject to changes, especially the VAYNE one, I hope. But again, a lot of new things can be added, a lot of things can be removed, and this is just a very early look to give us a rough idea as to what Riot is smoking over there at their headquarters. So let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this current patch and what you think of the changes so far. Let me know what you think about the VAYNE one and all that good stuff as well, and which one you think will be the most impactful. But either way, guys, I thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, definitely hit it with that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Make sure to share this video with your friends so everyone else can see these ridiculous changes happening to Janna and to VAYNE. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.